Welcome to part 4 of our 4-part video series. In this video, we're going to be discussing how the loud, disorganized avoidant attachment style will purposely create conflict. As an example, I was in the middle of an argument with Jeffrey, and all of a sudden I'm like, I can't anymore. And I stopped him and I was like, stop. Just stop for a second. Look at what's happening right now. And I was able to articulate what was happening in the discussion. And I told him, I said, what's happening? We're arguing about nothing. You are literally creating an argument. You're creating conflict so that we will fight. Now, the way I was able to explain everything to him, in that moment, he saw clarity and he actually admitted, he was like, you're right. I am creating this out of, there is no reason for us to actually be fighting right now. This is what they do though. So we're going to be discussing some extremes. The way he decided to just move another guy in with us without even talking to me about it. He decided to just move the majority of my stuff without having discussion with it, without discussing it first, and then expecting me to be okay with both of these scenarios. This is how they control you. This is what they do. They activate your sympathetic nervous system, your fight-or-flight response, to then be able to dysregulate all of your emotions, and boom, now they have you under their control. Now, here's the thing that happened. So, I went, my family was supposed to come to Hawaii for a visit. So I was supposed to bring both of my kids to come to Hawaii to visit, and instead, one of his renters decided, hey, I want to stay longer. Can I rent longer? And he's like, well, the problem is that the space where you want to stay, in the middle of that, some people are coming, so you can't stay there. And I don't have any other spaces for you to come. I'll tell you what though, if you don't mind staying in the guest room of my house, I can put you there for that time period and then I can move you back in. Well, the thing is that it was right when my kids were supposed to come for the holidays, and he didn't ask me. By the way, this is still my house, as in, I even asked him, like, do you still consider this my house? And he's like, yes, I do. And so, this was during a time period where it's still my house, and we had agreed the kids were going to come, and without asking me, without saying anything, I come home from what I was working, and he says, okay, so I have something to tell you. And he tells me the thing with the person, with the renter. And I'm like, okay, I'm not upset about you giving that space to the renter, because if you need the money that bad that you're willing to do this without even asking, because one of the things he said during his whole speech about this was, and I had to make a decision fast, and so I just made the decision. That was his excuse why he didn't tell me, right? Which was completely not true, because I happen to know the person, and the person would have been fine waiting a couple of hours. It wasn't even that long for me to get home, or Jeffrey could have texted me or could have gotten on a phone call. Anyway, so it was just, it was even built into the story as the reason, right? But it was clearly an excuse. So I said, the thing that is hard is that you didn't even talk to me about it. And I said, think about if the situation was reversed. What if I didn't tell you, and I just, oh, by the way, the person is a male. So he invited a male to live in our house with us. And again, I would have been fine with it if he really needed the money that badly. However, the thing is that he was bringing a male in that, yeah, I've met him. So, and Jeffrey has told me things about him. So I know that he's a relaxed kind of person, and it is still a male without talking to me, right? And it was more the thing is that he didn't even consider that it would be a good idea to tell me, hey, let's talk about this. I have this opportunity. How do you feel about it? Nothing, right? But the narcissist doesn't take other people's opinions into their consideration. The disorganized avoidant, well, that was his way of avoiding having my kids come. So I went to Texas instead to visit them. And while I was gone, he had a party. This was all planned prior to me leaving. And there's this musician that we like that we sometimes invite for him to come and play and, have a gathering and stuff like that. Well, he had to move around some of the sitting area furniture and stuff like that. And so when he picked me up by the way, while I was gone, he didn't tell me anything about this. He waited until he picked me up from the airport. Again, not flying from Florida, luckily, but flying from Texas. So still, it's like about an 8-hour flight or so. So still, and getting up early and all that. So still, when I got here, exhausted, right? Jet lag happens. So I'm tired, and we're in the car driving home, and he's like, so, by the way, I want to let you know all of your stuff was moved. Now, he didn't say it like that. He sugar-coated it. And he's like, I want to tell you before you see it because I want you to know that I was thinking about you when I did it. Okay. No. But anyway, he tells me this elaborate story of how all of my things got moved. So he says that all the furniture had to be moved from this sitting area, which is literally the only place where my stuff was allowed to go, interestingly, right? And so he moved all of that. And when it got put back, someone else, like people after the party, were helping put back the furniture and cleaning up and everything, right? So he's like, well, someone else put everything up. And he's like, and I like what they did, so I left it, so I wanted you to see it. Well, in the meantime, he also reorganized this cupboard where a bunch of my vitamins were, and a cupboard where I had some coffees and teas and stuff like that. And then he rearranged the stuff in the closet. So for months, there's storage bins on the top of the closet, and he had both what we considered my side of the closet and his side of the closet full of his stuff. And he had said before I even moved in that he was gonna organize that to where I would have stuff or space for my stuff. And so he did that, but in the meantime he moved pretty much everything in the bedroom and in this little shelf area in the bedroom, and he moved everything in the sitting. Essentially, besides my clothes, he pretty much moved everything else. He lost things. I couldn't find things, so I would ask him, where's this or that? He didn't know. He couldn't find them. Some things are permanently lost. I don't know where they are. So anyway, in the meantime, and I found out that he actually lied about one thing because he, I guess, just forgot or whatever that he actually shoved it in one of my drawers, but didn't know. So it was lost for a while. So, and he also said he didn't touch those drawers. So I don't know. But anyway, I told him though, I'm like, if this was reversed, again, reversing, right? When he invited the renter to stay and didn't even consult with me, I said, if this was reversed, how would you feel? Would this be okay to you? And he's like, no, it wouldn't. I'm like, okay, well then why did you do it? Low RQ. Combined with narcissistic behaviors, it's all about him. He has to think about himself and not the other. Combined with a disorganized attachment, if I create conflict, which is what they will do, then I can separate myself because now the other person's mad at me and I'm mad at the other person because there's a conflict, and I don't have to deal with the emotions of, wow, this person's actually kind of nice. This person kind of cares? And that's what I mean about the 180. So if you're doing things in a relationship where you feel, and you've checked with other people, and you've checked with even friends, right? So even friends were telling him, and I know this because they told me, Jeffrey, or Jeff, whatever they would say, don't screw this one up. Like, you need to keep this one, right? So if you think that you're being kind, if you think you are being loving, and you're checking in with other people, and other people know you and know your partner, and this person keeps distancing themselves, they have one or more of this combination. They might either be a narcissist and wanting to control you, because he had a huge thing with control. Other people even called him out on it. And in fact, I was talking with one of his best friends one time, and we were having this conversation, and his friend's like, look, part of this is just who he is. And he said, as an example, his friend was helping him out. They were serving other people food and stuff. And Jeffrey was like, hey, will you organize this platter? I forgot what, I think it was fruit or something, right? And so his friend organizes the fruit platter, and he's like, okay, I'm done, right? And Jeffrey's like, and comes around and moves everything. Like, okay, there. That is why I mentioned the slides earlier, because sometimes when you're that particular, when you're that meticulous about something, it comes onto people as well. So in that moment, his friend could have been like, wow, that's kind of an asshole move. Like, I just helped you and you're just gonna fix it. Why don't you just do it yourself, right? But his friend, in this moment, had a higher RQ, and he used this as an example to tell me, hey, it's not just you. Like, this is how he is. Jeffrey just is very meticulous about things. Where this becomes a danger is when now you don't even allow someone who you think is the person you built a house for to move into that house. You create situation after situation after situation to push this person further and further away. And if you're being pushed away by someone and you stand your ground and you say, no, I'm not leaving. I'm sticking this out. I'm here with you. We can do this together. And they have a bad reaction to that, they're highly likely to be a disorganized avoidant, because they don't have any context for that. That scares it out of them, okay? So in your mind, you're going, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? Like, I'm literally stopping everything in my life. I quit my job. I'm not unpacking my stuff. I left my friends and family. Now, again, I did really want to move here. I just thought it was not going to be this soon. And again, Source, universe was like, girl, you're moving there. So I get it. I'm supposed to be here. I definitely know that now. Maybe next time I'll make a gratitude video as well, because there's lots of things that Jeffrey taught me that I'm very grateful for, just not in the way that is expected. Or it's very unhealthy learnings, but it was still learnings that I'm grateful for. Now, again, I say to him, when I got back and all of my stuff was moved, I said, Jeffrey, if the situation was reversed, how would this make you feel? Because he felt that I shouldn't be upset. He felt because he told me the reason, he left it there because he thought I might like it too, that I shouldn't be upset. What's really interesting is when I first moved in, I would like put something somewhere. Like, here's a little thing of mine, and I'm like, let me see how that looks there. And I would just set it there. I didn't even know if I liked it there yet. I just put it there to see how it would look in the room. He would like see it, and he's like, we need to have a talk before you put things places. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you can't just put things, you can't just come in here and put things places. I don't like it right there. We have to have a talk first. And I'm like, I don't know if I like it right there. I was just putting it there to see if it fits. I don't even know if it fits yet. And he's like, well, we need to have a talk first. And I'm like, so every time I want to just try something, I have to talk to you first? And he's like, yes. Okay, if that makes you more comfortable, I'll tell you before I place things. Another thing that happened is there's like a small little pantry where he keeps dried goods and stuff. And when I had first moved in, I had bought some groceries and stuff, things that I like, and I went to go place them in there, and there was like, it was all disorganized, and like there was pasta like on all 3 shelves, right? And I'm like, well, that's weird. And there was no system to it that I could see at all. And so I'm like, well, let me be nice and put the pasta where the pasta goes and put, like categorize it, right? And that way we can both find things easier. And I kind of put my stuff on one side. That way he didn't have to like mess with it. And it was on all 3 shelves. So I wasn't taking like all of the top shelf or anything like that, right? So I thought it was very, equitable. And he got so mad over this organization. And he's like, I had it the way I wanted it. And I was like, you did? Because he actually even told me that he needed to reorganize it. And he's like, well, I knew where everything was. And I'm like, you had pastas on all different shelves. He's like, well, I had it organized where the stuff I used on the top or the stuff I used the most was on the top. And I'm like, well, that's not true because you use that thing on the bottom all the time. Anyway, so he got mad when I just moved some food. And yet he pretty much moved almost every item that I had in the house. And the final straw between us, and this is how you can really tell if you're with one of these types of people, is when you stand in your own power using their way. Here's what I mean by this. So at the very end, when I got back from not the very end, but very close to the end, when I got back over the holidays in December, or well, by now it's the beginning of January, when I got back and all of my stuff was moved, and his friend was still staying there. The friend who he was borrowing my car while I was gone. And then when I got back, he's like, hey, do you need your car? And I'm like, well, I wanted to go somewhere, but it's not important, so you can take it, because I knew he was leaving in a couple days. And Jeffrey was like, oh, well, you can borrow my truck. It was very awkward. Like, there was no reason for him to say that. And so he lets his friend borrow his truck, and I'm like, I thought you didn't let people borrow your truck. And he's like, oh, well, he's owned a truck like that before, so he knows how to drive it. I wanted to slap him because I've driven really big trucks before pulling jet skis. So and this is really funny, is during the whole sale of my car, I took it to the dealership to have them like look over it, to be able to give people, it has a clean bill of health basically. Well, they ended up being super backed up, and so they're like, hey, just take this truck and you can drive that home and we'll get to your car later. I'm like, okay, cool. I sent him pictures of me. It was supposed to be a joke. I sent him pictures of me like, hey, I bought a truck instead. And it was like the same, basically the same truck as his. And so I even sent him pictures of me driving a truck. Not only driving a truck, but the dealership just handing me keys to their truck. Totally trusting me, because we were in Texas, and what girl in Texas does not know how to drive a truck? Implants. Well, technically I'm an implant too. I wasn't born there either, but I lived there for a lot of years, so that counts, right? Anyway, joking aside though, it's just another piece of control. So when they control you, and you allow them to control you, even if it's for a good reason, because I thought I had a good reason, even if it's for a good reason, when you allow them to control you and they control you, the moment they recognize they have to stop controlling you is the moment they walk away. So his friend went back home. I told him, hey, before we go to dinner tonight, because we're going out for dinner, I told him, I said, I really would like to have a conversation with you. And he's like, okay. And so he put it off until like we were about to leave. And he's like, okay, I'm ready. And I was like, Great, I got 5 minutes. Okay. And so he is very much into learning styles. Like if you're a visual person, you need to have lots of slides. If you're an auditory person, then you need to, make sure you can hear, like you like to be spoken to more, and, so on. He is a very visual person. So sometimes it's hard for him to listen to people like talk all day long or something. He has to have slides, or he has to have some sort of other visual engagement, graphs and stuff like that. Literally, sometimes I would like draw out stuff when I was talking to him to be able to communicate with him. So in my mind, I thought, ooh, let me speak to him in his modality. So I gave him a visual. So I stood us, they come here, and I stood us by the doorway, and from the doorway you can see the sitting area, you can see the kitchen, you can see the TV area, a little breakfast nook, and then the dining table. So open floor plan, you can pretty much see like the main part of the house, except like the bathrooms, bedrooms, and office, right? So the main living area, though, main living part of the house, I said, look around, just look around. And what in here do you see that is mine? And instead of answering the question, he turns around and he looks at me. He doesn't even take the time. He turns around, looks at me, and he says, "We're done." And I'm like, "What?" And he said, "You're patronizing me and talking to me like I'm a child." And I was like, I just triggered his mother wound. And for me, I thought, I'm giving him a visual perspective. To him, he thought so part of it is deep down unconsciously, he knows I'm right. He knows there's like maybe 5 things, if that he could point to that were mine. And the rest of the entire house was his. Couches, rugs, birds, pictures, tables, like everything was his. Crystals. He had a ton of crystals, but yet I couldn't put any of mine out. But he had a whole bunch out. And in fact, while I was gone, he actually unpacked more of his stuff and put it places. Even though one of his biggest arguments for me not putting my stuff out was because it felt cluttered. If you're experiencing where you have to turn more and more of yourself off in order to be with something's wrong. These are some of the ways you start to notice this person has a low EQ, a low RQ, or maybe both. I hope this video has helped. And again, it's kind of a combination of a catching up what's going on with me, but it's really, I'm unveiling the curtain to share my life completely and freely. So for one, you're along with the ride. My stories are your stories, because my stories are your stories. Because again, I'm not the only person dealing with all of those stories that I just said. That's what really helped me in the book, is that it was a bunch of different examples. And it was going, oh my goodness, that's happening to me right now. So if you're listening to this and you're going, oh my goodness, that's happening to me right now. Whoa, that is happening to my friend. I knew it. I told him that he needs to whatever. Have the friend watch the video. If this is happening to you and you're brave enough, have your partner watch the video. Don't have your boss watch the video. I don't think that will go well for you if you're saying he's the narcissist. Have the family member watch the video. Now, I'm still not saying it's going to go well for you, because I actually did have him watch a video. It was by a guy, so I thought maybe he'd be more comfortable. I had him watch the video of discussing what a loud disorganized attachment style is. And it was by somebody who studies this and works with it and has tons of videos, and I recommended he go and watch the videos. And that was very upsetting to him. He was not willing to hear it. He's in absolute complete denial. And he tried to just say, I'm making it up, even though I was not the one who even knew about this particular attachment style in the first place. I found out about it because someone else told me that's what he has, someone else who knows him. And it's very easy to see the patterns. The patterns of his childhood completely match up with the patterns he's doing now. So if you are with a person and their childhood was one of they're not validated, their emotions are not okay, and whatever their trauma they experienced had them pulling into themselves and thinking, I have to think about myself first, then you may be dealing with a narcissist, you may be dealing with a disorganized avoidant. Disorganized avoidants, from what we know so far, are not common. First one I've ever dated. So, and hopefully last. No, I'm not even gonna do that because yeah, now I know all of the signs. And now you do too. So if you're with one and don't want to be, because here's the thing, one of the patterns they get into is they leave and they come back, they leave and they come back. And that can be very, very disruptive to the other person. Luckily, we separated in a way to where for him, I know he won't be back because he would tell me stories about how he's just completely forgotten the names of previous girlfriends. That's how much whenever he finally ends it, he completely runs away altogether. The one person, he's not friends with any of his exes. That's another red flag too. Now, if you've had a bunch of exes who maybe you shouldn't be friends with, it could be a yellow flag, but in a lot of ways, it's a red flag because he's friends with none of his exes. The woman he was engaged to a really long time ago, I guess they finally talked. They're not friends though, but they did talk. And she was like, yeah, you were right. Because at the time he said, I'm leaving you because you aren't finding yourself. You didn't know, his whole reason why he left her is because he thought that she was getting lost in the relationship. And so he left her for her own good. That's another red flag right there. You don't leave people for their own good. That's not the way you handle things. If she had lost herself, you can stay with her and help her regain herself. He believed he lost himself in the relationship too, but he believed he healed himself. That's another red flag. Whenever someone is like, oh, but I'm healed, either they just went through a really, really deep breakthrough and they feel amazing and they're still on cloud 9, give them some slack, or they're in complete denial and they think they've healed, but they haven't. If you're with someone who thinks they've healed and the signs are everywhere that they haven't, it's a red flag. Also, he doesn't have any long-term friends. All of his friends have left him for some reason or another. Or they've screwed him out of money, or they've done this, or they've done that. And he is friendless. Nobody likes him. No, he has some close friends right now, and he's like, this is the first time in my life I've ever had close friends like this. Well, not that this is the first time in his life, but the first time it's stayed, right? So, but all of his other friends, he hasn't spoken to his mom in I think 15 years. He doesn't really speak to his sister. He does sort of speak to his dad, but he's on limited terms. The only people he speaks to consistently are his mom, who his best friend, and his best friend's mom kind of helped raise him. He no longer, in childhood, he no longer speaks to the best friend, but he still is with the mom and the sister of the best friend. Those are the only two long-term people in his life. So that's another red flag. So there's lots of little things as you're the little frog boiling in the pot that you can start to recognize. That's a bubble. Oh my gosh, stuff that's a bubble. It's bubbling. I don't think the water's supposed to bubble, right? So look for bubbles and pay attention to them. And if you are choosing to diminish yourself, then that's your choice and that's on you. Just please don't do it for very long. I chose I can't say, no, yeah, I chose for about 6 months. For about 6 months, I chose to do it. And I thought that he would get to a point, because he said he's done so much work on himself, I thought he would get to a point where he can accept another human being and accept love. And he didn't get to that point. So that's the other sad part about this, is they might never get to that point with you. So if you want to give them the chance, I don't blame you. I did. Just know that at a certain point, you're going to have to pick yourself up. Only now you've been boiled, and so you have to heal all of the burn marks all over you and just jump out of the pot before it's too late. All right, thank you for watching this video. Mahalo. I love you all. And again, choose love in everything that you do. Mahalo. How the loud, disorganized attachment avoidant style, avoidance style? In this particular video, we're going to be discussing how the loud, disorganized attachment avoidant blah, blah, blah. Did it again.